What is going on? And welcome into the Warzone Sports Network Live. We are going to get some initial reactions to the schedule. I am joined by JD from the Heart to Start podcast. You can check them out on YouTube, over on Instagram, always coming out with really great content. Joe Scurto here from Sports Force, our resident Jets fan. Psyched about the schedule. One of the games is my games to watch from the Jets and Jaguars. But gentlemen, how we doing? How's everybody feeling?
Everything good, big bro, man. Thank you for having me, man. Shout out to the Warzone Sports Network. You know, I fuck with everybody over there. Them is my dogs, man. Shout out to the Turn Up the Facts, aka Turn Up the Jets, my dog Joe. You know what I mean? You know, that's my bro right there. And shout out to motherfucking Tone Tucker. That's my bro right there, man. This my second time on the show. I feel like I'm at home right now, man. So I'm finna kick my feet up and talk about some motherfucking football. Yes, sir.
Hell yes. Hell yes. Skirto, my guy right here. Jets schedule came out. Number one game on the schedule. I saw you react to that right away.
Feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Yeah. So people don't know I'm actually moving to North Carolina in June. So I knew I was going to move to North Carolina prior to the Sam Darnold trade. Darnold goes to the Panthers. And now Darnold is playing the Jets week 1. So I already have tickets to that game. So I'm ecstatic. I can't wait. It's unbelievable. Zach Wilson's debut, Robert Saleh's debut, Sam Darnold. Man, the NFL just knew. I guess they just knew.
Well, I sent this to you in a message privately. I thought that was the best time to do it. Really, like, it's a clean slate for both sides. Like, you get the chance to have, no injuries, no problems. Both are new in playbooks and systems and whatever. So it's as fair as it can be to see the former and the future do battle on the first week of the season. I thought it was a genius move.
Right. And that's kind of how I felt. A lot of people asked me, like, who do you want the Jets to face? I was like, it's got to be Carolina, right? Like, it's either Carolina or Jacksonville. That's how I kind of thought out. It's like either the 1 and 2 picks play each other, or it's Zach Wilson versus Sam Darnold, old school versus new school. So I think they killed it. So I'm excited to get into the rest of the schedule because honestly, I haven't looked into depth of the rest of the schedule. So I'm excited to get this thing started here.
We will do that for sure. But also they had to avoid a potential shit show because you can't have your 1 and 2 picks coming out in like a 7-3 football game. The first game of the season.
It probably would be. It'd probably be like 9-7. Jacksonville Jets. Yeah. So I'm glad it's Carolina.
It would, yes. It would definitely be we'll bring this schedule in here for us. Everybody can see this nicely, I hope.
Definitely.
All right, JD, we're kicking off. I mean, we're not going to go through every game, but I think they hit a home run on game 1. Cowboys, Buccaneers. What are your thoughts on that?
No, definitely. I mean, you got the biggest brand damn near in sports, worldwide sports. You know, the Cowboys, you know, they gross 5 billion, 3 billion. Well, I forgot exactly what the number is. That their total earnings for the whole year is up there with, astronomical numbers. And then you got the defending champs who arguably, hasn't lost. They could bring in back all 22 starters, including AB. And last time I was on with you, Tony, we was talking about spots where AB might potentially go, and here it is. He end up going back. I mean, what can you say? You got a healthy Dak who's looking like he's ready to go. Start off where he left off last year. I mean, fuck, bro, that Thursday night game should be a heavyweight fight. I love it.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. It's a nice warm-up game for the cult down there in Tampa that Tom Brady started, where everybody wants to be part of it. It's so fantastic that AB and everybody else came back. Good for him. Skirto, good matchup. You get Jerry's World and the Bucks. Anything you want to add in that world, in that arena?
Yeah, it's a very marketable game. Like, that's all you can say. I mean, you got America's team, even though they haven't. I think they've won what 4 playoff games the last 25 years, but they're always going to have that hype. So I know Tom Brady's always is already talking trash on Twitter. So I like that matchup a lot. I think that's going to be good for the league, and I'm excited to see Dak back. And I would love to see Dak come back and beat Tom Brady. That's just me, but it's going to be a good matchup. So I'm excited for that one.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm a little nervous if I'm Dak. My first game back is against that defense.
Oh,
and you've got
yeah.
Devin White flying around, and Levante David, and Ndamukong Suh's been known to step on some folks in his time in the NFL. So it's like you're not getting much of an easy game back in there. Like Jerry had to be happy to get the nationally televised game, but also he's like, hey, I just spent $160 on that man. Don't break my shit, okay? Be nice, Buccaneers.
Whole thing is though with my bad, I hate to cut you off, but I think that offense can go point for point. Even though that the Tampa Bay defense looked great in the playoff run, that Dallas offense with Dak, even though they was having to force to put up those 40s and whatnot in them comeback games last year, if that's what that offense is going to be, I think they can go point for point with Tampa. I think it's a shootout. If the over is 40-45, I would love to take the over on that game without a doubt, because I can see that going definitely over 47 points or something.
Oh, most definitely on that. I'll take the over. Defenses aren't ready usually. I don't think they're going to get a lot of preseason games in. From this, we'll start with you, Joe. I don't know if you can see the screen here or not. Is there a game on this schedule that you're sort of looking forward to in week 1 outside of your Jets and Panthers game that you already got tickets to?
It's got to be Seattle, Indianapolis, man. I mean, that's the game I'm looking forward to. The new look coats with Carson Wentz and kind of the dramatic experience that we've heard with Seattle with Russell Wilson. I mean, obviously Russell Wilson will be there. I'm confident he'll be there, but that's a big game. I mean, Seattle going at Indianapolis. I think Indy's they're going to wreak havoc in the AFC. I'm really all bought in with Indianapolis because the fact that they won 11 games with Phillip Rivers, who clearly wasn't Phillip Rivers anymore, and still should have beat the Bills. I mean, if Carson Wentz could get right with Frank Reich once again, we all know what they did in 2017. I'm excited for that matchup.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was the one that I was looking at. Depending on which one you took, JD, is there one you're looking at?
It got to be Cleveland and Kansas City, because I'm high on Baker Mayfield this year, and from top to bottom, the Cleveland Browns probably have the best roster next to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from top to bottom, 100%. What they went and got John Johnson and the other cornerback from the Rams, them bringing in my boy from Houston. He played in Tennessee last year. I'm drawing a blank last year. Right now, I mean, I can't even.
Clowney.
Jadavion, with them bringing in Clowney, and then their second round pick and the first round pick Newsome in the linebacker as well. I think that top to bottom, the Cleveland Browns is ready to rock, and you got a healthy Odell Beckham who's out there posting his workouts and whatnot. Man, I think Cleveland, and they only lost by 5 points. I want to say it was a 17-22 game, even though that Kansas City completely revamped their O-line. I don't think that in week 1 is going to be gel together. Later on down in the season, they'll gel. But week 1, I think Cleveland got a chance of going to Kansas City like they did last year in the playoffs and get that upset.
Yeah, I think it's a good test. It's also a good run to see what we can get out of Baker, like see if the momentum, because imagine the hype train that they'll be on if they come out and beat Kansas City in week 1. Because I'm also on the Baker hype deal too.
For real?
I love Baker Mayfield. I say the Browns are going to the Super Bowl, and every time I get, it just feels like that's what's going to happen. Somehow that it's all going to work out, and Progressive is going to control the Super Bowl. We got Mike in the mic. Whenever you're ready to get in here and talk about your Chargers, I will say that since Joe is not here, Joe Morley, I would like to say I'm disappointed that we didn't get a double header on Monday Night Football and that the Raiders are on Monday Night Football. Like
that that
Every year.
disappoints me also. That disappoints me also. But I'm glad Joe's not here in the chat.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to. I said I can get this out of the way before Morley gets in here and feels a little sting from it. But Baltimore and the Raiders on Monday Night Football, just not really into that at all. How you feeling about this week 1 matchup for your Chargers, Mike?
I like it. It's a good test. Last year they kicked us off with Kansas City, and I think 2 years ago they kicked us off with Kansas City. And both times I did not have a good time week 1 watching those games. So I like that they gave us a little bit of a warm-up matchup this time before we got to play Kansas City. I think we play in week 3.
Well, we got Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year going head-to-head there. To me, this feels like one of the worst matchups that anybody can have any week because of that defense. When some of the fantasy guys or some of the players that we'll talk about in fantasy, they catch the Washington football team during weeks 14 through 16 or 15 through 17 now. Excuse me. Thank you, NFL, for that, by the way.
It's definitely going to be strength versus strength. I'm hoping that the Chargers defense is okay, but there are still some holes that it didn't address. So I'm going to say our offense is going to be our strength. And obviously Washington's going to come out with an even hungrier and more dominant defense than last year, probably, because all those guys were young and developed a year.
All right.
But they got Fitz-tragic. What are we going to get week 1? Is it going to be Fitz-magic or is it going to be Fitz-tragic? We don't know.
Fitz-tragic.
It's so up and down with that guy. And, to shout out to what the Chargers did on that offensive line, going to go get the boy from Green Bay and then going to go take another offensive lineman in the draft, man. They trying to make sure that they protect their investment. You know what I mean? And then you get a healthy Austin Eckler back. You know what I mean? Already with the fucking offense that they was putting up numbers with last year. I like LA in this matchup. Starting right now, barring no injuries in training camp and in the preseason, I think the LA Chargers can go ahead and whip the Redskins because they coming is the Redskins the home team? I mean, excuse me, not the Redskins.
Washington, yeah, Washington is the home team.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
So the Chargers is going to the East Coast. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But week 1 shouldn't be too big a deal. They can go a couple days earlier than on most weeks. Yeah, we're really going to get to see the offensive line in action in that first week. If they can at least slow down their defensive line, I will feel real good about the rest of the season. You mentioned the Slater pickup, the Lindsley pickup, both huge pickups. Slater has potential to be a Pro Bowl or All-Pro tackle. Corey Lindsley's already done it, obviously. And then underrated, we picked up from the Detroit Lions, Ibushi. He's a guard. He's been a little inconsistent, but he's a solid starter. And I love the pickup of Matt Filer. They got him for real cheap, too. I don't remember what the exact numbers were, but he is a solid starting guard. So this line has basically new people except for Brian Bulaga across it. And Bulaga didn't even play last year. So it's an entire new offensive line. Herbert's going to probably step back and be like, holy crap. I'd never experienced this in my NFL career, standing there for 4 or 5 seconds instead of 2.5.
Yes, I'm excited. You know that I'm kind of on the fence about becoming a Bolts fan. So this will, this better be a good introduction if I do decide to put on the powder blue. I got Joe's Jets schedule up here. I'm going to try and full screen it. There we go. I pulled it off.
Hey,
Joe. We got it. Let's go through. How are you feeling? Any worries? Any scares? Zach Wilson, does he make it to the bye week in week 6, standing on both of those legs?
Oh, man, I sure hope so. He makes it on both of those legs. My gosh, I think we deserve it at this point. But no, I think this schedule is interesting. I mean, you got Carolina. I think all 5 of these matchups will be tough. To be honest with you, I think Denver will be the easiest, but going to Mile High is never easy. I know Mike can relate to that. It's always that trap feel, and then you play Atlanta in London, which will be a 9:30 game Eastern time, and that's always kind of sketchy a little bit. But yeah, I mean, these first 5 are a lot better than last year's. The Jets actually had the 30. What was it? They had the second ranked hardest schedule last year. I believe they have the 19th hardest schedule this year. So that's a lot better than the second hardest. So I think these games are beatable. I'm glad that they play New England in New York. mainly because you got fans back, and I think that's really an effect. But I'm feeling okay. I'm not feeling great. I never feel great until I look at it and see what the scores are. But I'm definitely excited for that week 1. And the fact that they play Sam Darnold week 1 and then the Pats week 2, I think it's meant to be.
Well, I think that, so if we're looking before the bye, this one right here feels to me like the first Zach Wilson potential victory right here. The Tennessee game. Right? You get home from Denver. You learned a thing or two up there in the Mile High City.
Yeah, I mean, against Brian Bolster's Tennessee Titans, and that's actually my 25th birthday. Like, that's drawn up to, like, I cannot wait to talk so much. I cannot wait to talk so much trash to Brian that game. And I actually think, like, I'm a believer that the Titans are going to decline and they will not make the playoffs this year. I'm not going to say the Jets are going to beat them that game, but I think the Titans are going to decline really badly this year. That's just how I feel. Their defense is not good. I like what they did with Caleb Farley, but their defense is not good. And they lose Corey Davis, and they don't really gain much on the offensive side in terms of weapons. So I think that's a beatable game for sure in New York. Again, I'll say that being at home now is an advantage in 2021 because there's going to be at least 60% fans or maybe even fully capacity.
Yeah, that's why I circle that one. I feel like Carolina in week 1 to me is a potential. Obviously, it could be a win. We don't know what the Panthers are going to be. You know, we could also have a super edgy Darnold. He wants to play great against them. The opposite happens. Belichick against rookie quarterbacks. You guys get him twice in the first 6 games of Zach Wilson's career. That feels like, why? Why do you hate Zach Wilson?
Not good. That's not good. That's not good.
Where do you think, JD? Any thoughts on Zach Wilson's first potential victory on this schedule here?
I want to say it's Carolina. I don't think Carolina defense is that great as well. I mean, they had 7 rookies the year before, bro. You know, I don't know how much of a jump that they take from year 1 to year 2. I know I like the JC Horn pick out of, South Carolina, but I don't think that Carolina is that solid. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, he was putting up decent stats with them, but here it is, Sam Darnold. He has a plethora of weapons, but we don't know how that's going to gauge. And I think that the Jets have a great shot at going in there and getting that W without a doubt, even though it's a whole bunch of new faces over there in New York right now. But, you got Salah, I'm a Niner fan, and I'm highly of him and what he's bringing over there to that locker room. You bring in LaFleur, who wants to run that ball just like his brother, and, the OG, it's crazy to call Kyle Shanahan an OG, but damn, that's what he is right now because he got, we always see how coaches have their coaching tree. Well, there we go. We got the coaching tree already right now from the daddy all the way to the son, and now the son's starting to break off and have his own coaching kids and the whole shit like that, and go run the system other places. You know what I mean? And then I was in my dynasty draft, in my rookie draft coming up, I'm high on Michael Carter right now. You know what I mean? And I think Michael Carter can go ahead and go steal P. Ryan's job, just based on what LaFleur is known to run. So, you give me a heavy dose of a run game in that first week, and give me Denzel Mims and Corey Davis on the outside, and just off camera, I was asking Joe about Jamison Crowder and Elijah Moore. I mean, Elijah Moore is a do-it-all dude, To me, I like what I see right now from the Jets, without a doubt, especially in this week 1 matchup. It's more than a puncher's chance. They got a hell of a fight to go in there and whoop these boys 100%, whether it be 1, 2, 3 points. And I bet you the spread ain't going to be no more than 3 to 4 points favoring the home team. That means damn near a toss-up for me. So, yeah, give me week 1 as their first win.
Okay, so what I heard right there was I really love Robert Salah, and I'm so glad that a 49er got a job. Come on, week 1, you just talk. I just listened to the Jets. I'm like, damn. I'm like, the Jets are going to be kind of good. But then I realized like this was just so much like just balls. I was like, this
I'm
guy,
blowing up my guy.
you
All
need
gas,
to work
no
in
brakes.
PR, JD. You need to give up your day job and you need to be a PR man, because I was like halfway through, I'm like, shit, the Jets. I'm looking at their schedule. I'm like, it might be 3-2 by the break.
Fuck, bro.
Good, it's good stuff. I love it though. I love the confidence. When I was talking to Robson, who we've had on this show before, not really talking to him, Mike, you'll be able to. How the hell are you going to be a Jets fan and then be like, oh brother, we got Sam Darnold in week 1. You just spent the last 3 years bashing Sam Darnold as the biggest turd on the planet, and then you're playing him in week 1, and you're like, well, I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about the defensive line and the weapons they have. Yeah, but the guy that you said was junk is running with those weapons, and he's still like, well, I don't know. We're starting 0-1 again. I'm like, what the hell is this, Robson?
Yeah, he is a big Sam Darnold hater, and if you trip him up on it, he's just going to go straight to the Christian McCaffrey cop out. Like, no, it's not Sam Darnold. They got Christian McCaffrey. That's why we're going to lose to him. I think that's a winnable game for them in week 1, but I'll take Carolina because I think it's going to be tight. Carolina's be trying to find their groove. New York's be trying to find their groove. A lot of new faces in both of those rosters, and I think I'll take the team with more experience, especially at the coaching staff, and a tight one there week 1. Denver's winnable, but I think Denver just has too much talent. They just got to figure out what's going on at quarterback. So I don't think I would take them over Denver unless they somehow were 2-0 at that point. Then maybe they could push me off that ledge. I don't think they beat Tennessee. Atlanta, they could win. It just depends on what Atlanta shows up. I'll give you good news, Joe. I think they're going to go on a 2-game winning streak when they win their first game of the season. But I think it's going to be in week 12 and 13.
Damn.
And we're talking a 2-11 New York Jets team at week 13.
Okay.
Man, oh man. I mean,
go ahead, Joe. That's rough.
That's rough. I mean, I was gonna say 1-4 in the first 5 games. I think they could win one of those 5. Oh man, 2-11. God, don't even.
Really, for me, it's just how these tight ones go. The Denver one, I think, will be a tight game. The Atlanta one will be a tight game, and the Carolina one will be a tight game. But if none of those games go their way, what about the rest of them? Are they winning any of those games? Maybe Cincinnati, if their defense is as bad as it's been and the offensive line is as bad as it's been, maybe Cincinnati. But everyone else is tough. I mean, this is a tough first 10 games.
No, it is. It is a tough first 10 games. I'm just looking at the first 5.
Mm-hmm.
I would give them, at least one win in those first 5. 7-10. Yeah, that's difficult. I mean, the fact that they got to play New England 2-7, I think New England's going to be very improved. No matter who they have at quarterback, I think the surrounding cast is going to be so much better. Cincinnati, I think that's a very, very, very winnable game, especially at home. Again, you go with the fans again. Indianapolis, I don't think they stand a shot, to be honest. Buffalo, nah. But I mean, 2-11. I don't know. I can't look too far into that. I've been through enough here.
It's hard to make predictions this early on because we have no idea. Like, there's still guys that could get signed.
Right.
They have some decent cap space, though, don't they?
Okay.
Yeah, no, they do.
Yeah.
I just want to set this up for everybody. It's the day after we celebrate the birth of baby Jesus. We get to see potentially Tim Tebow and Zach Wilson on December. Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry, wrong thing. I read the wrong card. Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson on December 26th. I'm sorry. I got it confused there. But yes, this is a game that I marked down as I was going through that I just want to see just for the fun of it. Is this a game that you will like look forward to as the season moves on? As like, all right, we get to be on the same field as the guy who went number 1 against our number 2.
Yeah, that's definitely a big game. Like I said earlier, I think Carolina and Jacksonville were the 2 games that I'd want to see week 1. I mean, just because the drama status. By the way, I think Tim Tebow won't even be on the roster by then. He shouldn't be. I mean, I think I have a better chance of being on the roster of the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 16 than Tim Tebow. I think it's an absolute joke. And I'm not going to get into it, but I think it's an absolute joke that he is a tight end in this league. But with the generational talent like Trevor Lawrence, and then you go Zach Wilson right after, and that's the guy that everyone thought, 95% of the year, the Jets fans thought they were going to have Trevor Lawrence right on their lap, and they win a game, and then they get kind of bombarded. Everyone's so mad that they finally won a game. I'm not mad. Whatever. Like, we'll trust Zach Wilson. I'd rather not see my team go 0-16 because that's just straight up embarrassing. But this is a good storyline for sure. You got Wilson, you got Lawrence, you got two rookie NFL head coaches in Saleh and Urban Meyer. I have a lot of words for Urban Meyer, but I won't express them. But yeah, that's a good game. I was surprised they put it this late. I thought it was going to be more earlier because this could be a dumpster fire game, because that's why I'd rather put them at week 1 than week 16, because who knows? Both these teams could be well out of playoff contention, which, if I'm a betting man, I think that's what's going to happen.
I know, but then we could see like a Madden game where nobody punts. They're just going for it on their own 12-yard line. JD's got – we're going to get to the 49ers next. I know you have a rookie quarterback. Is this a game you'll be watching like, yeah, we got the better player at 3? Like,
yeah, no, definitely. Well, see, I ain't got the motherfucking NFL ticket, but if that motherfucker own, I definitely tune into this, because just based on seeing the two quarterbacks go ahead, the 1 and 2 picks go ahead and, bring their guns and, take 10 steps and draw and turn around and, and the cold thing is, come week 16, even though if they're out of playoff contention, they could really start be gelling right now, because they're not, barring any injury, it's time to go. You done got 14, 15 games under your belt in your first season. It's time to go. So, we should see what they are already in 15 games going into the 16th week. And, or if if the Jets need more weapons, or if Jacksonville need more weapons, whatever the case may be, we're going to get this is a good measuring stick of where they're at in their rookie year. The first 5 games, we're going to have to chop that up just based on, this state. But here it is now. You done got you some great experience right now. And then, just the competition factor with the 1 and 2 pick. Zach Wilson go try and outdo this dude because he probably feel like he should have been the number 1 pick. You know what I mean? So, I definitely tune into this motherfucker, man. Like I said, but I ain't got the NFL ticket, and this is not going to be on in Sacramento, California. I know that for sure. At that time zone and the whole shit, that game is not going to be on.
You'll be getting the Raiders Bengals game or something. It'll be
it'll be a Cowboy. If it ain't the Niners playing in that time zone, it'll be the punk ass Cowboys. Oh, everything.
Yes. It's I don't know. Sacramento. I don't know. We're moving over here to your 49ers. I'm going to throw the schedule up.
It's my first time seeing it too, bro. I want to make sure I came on the show not scripted or nothing. So this is my first time seeing this motherfucker, man.
Here it is. Feast your eyes on it. You guys.
Why would they want to give us Detroit week 1?
That's because they're fans of Kyle Shanahan.
Man, Dan Campbell, man, we're taking off knees, shoulder, elbows, and whatever the fuck he said. Dan, ain't that his name? Dan Campbell, the coach?
Dan Campbell.
We're taking off kneecaps and all types of shit. You're not going to do that week 1. That's 100% for sure.
All they're doing week 1 is giving out free dubs to San Francisco.
100%.
I agree.
Jared Goff might as well just hand it off to the other team instead of DeAndre Swift, because Anthony Lynn is going to call run play every single play. So they might as well hand it off to the 49ers. Nick Bosa, go back there and just take it from him.
Right.
We have clearly an angry Chargers fan right there who knows the tendencies.
Hey, that sounds like Marty Ball back in the day too, though. Marty just used to get the ball to LaDainian all the fucking time, bro.
Yeah, but that was LaDainian.
Right. You're right. You're right.
And Austin Eckler, who's a receiving back. And the Chargers still have not brought in a guy to be a power back yet. Joshua Kelly. I don't know.
They don't have it. So I actually think the 49ers get out of the gate pretty favorable here, right? Like you get the Lions and then you get Philadelphia. Like these two teams could combine for like 5 wins this season. Like this is a great start of the schedule. And then you get a little bit of meat on it because you're getting Green Bay, the Seahawks, and to me, Arizona is not as good as everybody else thinks, but maybe they're better than I think.
Yeah, but we didn't think Arizona was as good as they was last year, and we played them last year, and they whooped the shit out of us the first week. And then the score might not have been a ass whooping, but the way that they kicked our ass last year in week 1, that was not cool. So we can't wait to see them again. But the cold thing is that usually when the 49ers go, well, I know Detroit is Midwest and Philadelphia is on the East Coast. Usually when they do that type of trip, they stay in Cleveland or somewhere in Ohio, wherever the Bartolos is from, you know what I mean? Because they don't want to keep flying back and forth and shit like that. So that's a hell of a test, even though that we don't expect Philadelphia, like you said, we see a combined 5 wins out of them 2 teams, you know what I mean? But I don't take that as no slouch. And, even with my take on Detroit, I think Detroit might even, with Sewell there, they rebuilding from top to bottom, you know what I mean? That was a hell of a pick. They could have went and had I think Waddle went before Sewell, so they could have had motherfucking Devontae Smith, or they could have just went some type of sexy ass pick, which they didn't do. You know what I mean? So that's building in the right spot. Even though we got Goff's number, you know what I mean? The way that we went into LA with Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard, we made Sean McVay re-guess everything that he had going on with these bum ass dudes we had playing last year. You know what I mean? So. But my key thing is that Indianapolis game. Green Bay, we dominate them. You know what I mean? It's proven fact when it comes to the playoffs and the whole shit. You know what I mean? Colin Kaepernick is still running all over their ass from 7 years ago, 100% in the playoffs, for real. So I'm not worried about Green Bay. Green Bay don't even know what they want to do with their Hall of Fame quarterback. You know what I mean? But that Indy game right there, I haven't seen Indianapolis' schedule, but that might be their first real test in week 7, you know what I mean, coming into California and seeing what they got in fucking Carson Wentz. Because we know as a whole, their whole roster is great. It's just that if Carson Wentz, like Joe was talking about, can get back to that magic that they had in 2017 with Frank Wright, you know what I mean? So that's my key game right there. Seattle, I'm not worried about them, even though they done brought in, I think it was Hudson from the Raiders. They got the left tackle out of Houston. I forgot his name. So they're solidifying their offensive line on top of having Russell Wilson be able to feel more confident in the offensive line. But, I'm not worried about that. I'm not, Arizona, that's going to be a great game just based on, like how I said, from week 1 last year, that it's a good measuring stick. But my thing right now would be definitely Indianapolis and then the Chicago game on the road as well.
Go ahead.
No, he's just a dominating force. And then, on top of Roquan Smith, I can't even think of the safety name out of Alabama. I mean, Chicago's defense, even though this might even be Justin Fields' first game playing. You never know. Or we might get Dalton to where Nick Bosa go ahead and get his money. I don't know, bro. But that Indianapolis and Chicago back-to-back, that's the measuring stick right there. The first 5 games, I could see 3-2, 2-3 right off the rip. But then after that, 49ers suck. Quest for 6 wins.
Just getting trolled over here by somebody.
I love it. But see, the cold thing is how I know he's paying attention, because he said quest for 6. Only real motherfucking 49er fans know that, or he's around some 49er fans because he heard the quest for 6 shit. So I like that right there, without a doubt. Hell yeah.
Okay, so either Joe or Mike, I would like to discuss with you guys, how can we get Trey Lance into this? Can you guys help me cook up a scenario so we can get Trey Lance in this 49ers offense by the bye week?
I mean, if they lose to Detroit or Philadelphia with any other quarterback, then they should put Trey Lance in immediately. I mean,
I've been story. I love it.
I've been looking all over social media, right? All day there's been schedule leagues from all the teams. Everyone's posting up their stuff and everything. I have not seen a single Philadelphia or Detroit Lion leak because no one cares. No one wants to see it. Not even their fans want to see the schedule and what's about to happen to those two teams. Terrible defenses, terrible offenses, and new head coaches. And it's going to be awful. And if Green Bay doesn't have Aaron Rodgers, those first 3 games are going to be cakewalk for the 49ers, especially if the defense is back and healthy and fully operating. As far as getting Trey Lance in there, I mean, you like to see him sit at least 8 games or so if you guys are going to play him this year. But at week 8, if you're 6-2 or 5-3, do you want to pull Jimmy there? Oh, I don't know. Maybe Joe will have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of the Tua situation last year. So if I'm the Niners, I am not playing Trey Lance for a single game if I don't have to, because I think Trey Lance is that guy that was that project. We all know that they drafted him mainly because of his potential. And it could go crazy enough that he could have the most potential in the entire draft. Do I think he will? I don't know. The North Dakota State thing kind of worries me, but I also hate that stereotype of, he went to college here and this other guy went to college here. But if I'm the Niners and I have a healthy Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm feeling good about this schedule, and I think you're going to be a competitive team. But the thing is, for the Niners, their advantage, if Garoppolo is injured, then you have the 3rd overall pick in the NFL draft. So I'm feeling really good about the Niners this year. I really am. And I'm somebody who has, I don't know, JD might not like me for this, but I have kind of put it on Kyle Shanahan because, listen, he blew a 28-3 lead as an offensive coordinator. He blew a 14-point lead in the 4th quarter as a head coach. How can he get over that hump? I think he has the potential. I mean, look who his father was. I certainly think he has the potential to do that with this team. I think this team is certainly ready to win now. They were ready to win now last year. They just didn't have a backup option. So if I'm a 49ers fan, I want Jimmy Garoppolo to stay healthy for the entire season because I think that's going to benefit Trey Lance so much. So I think unless you start maybe 3-4, there's no way that you can just take Garoppolo out of there because I think all these games are winnable, especially the first 5. I think the hardest game is Arizona. I really do, at Arizona. Because we don't know about Green Bay and we don't know about Seattle. So for me, I think Trey Lance, he should sit as long as they can possibly do it because they're not desperate. They're a win-now team, and I think Garoppolo can certainly play that role as long as he's healthy.
So, okay. I love everything you guys have said, and I'm sitting over here cooking up a little conspiracy of why the schedule makers love the 49ers, and perhaps they get a weak schedule because they were bad again last year. But you open with at Detroit, at Philly, 2 of the easiest teams to go play on the road. Then you get your first tough game is Green Bay at home, but we've all seen what they've done to them in the past. You get Russ at home then too. You get Arizona on the road. You get Indianapolis at home, but then they don't follow up these tough games with tough games. You get Jacksonville after Los Angeles, you get Minnesota. You get the Bengals after the Seahawks. Where's the tough stretch in this schedule? There isn't one. This is like a 11-win football team with this schedule I'm looking at.
That's the quest for 6 right there.
What is
your analysis of the schedule? That's what's going to get us into that motherfucker.
They get Tennessee, then Houston as warm-ups before they finish the season with the Rams. They literally have a run December 12th to January 2nd where they play the Bengals, Falcons, Titans, and the Texans. I'm not sure that one of those teams is a playoff team. Actually, I'm pretty sure Tennessee's the only one with a shot.
Maybe to close the season, too. 14 through 17.
That is just a
and look at, even if you look before that, Seattle's definitely winnable. Minnesota.
Now we have to listen to genius talk about Shanahan. Oh, he's a genius.
11 through 11 through 17 is probably.
I just giving you a hard time, JD.
My thing is, though, bruh, is that we had the worst luck last year. 30 players on IR, whatever the fuck the exact number was. We might have had the most players out. That's not going to happen in 2020 into 2021. That's the only thing. So if we could just do a measuring stick from 2019 to 2020, you give me all of everybody, no major injuries from 2019 and where they went, especially with Jimmy. I think, it might not be Super Bowl, but it's going to be a 10-6 team. Born, don't nobody get or 11-6, whatever the fuck, because of the 17 games now. You know what I mean? You give me everybody healthy on top of what they done brought in with IU that wasn't there in 19. You know what I mean? Maybe Jimmy has nightmares of missing Emmanuel Sanders on that last play, you know what I mean? And he's just keep replaying this shit in his head like, man, only if. So now that I got, my chance to do it again, and the cold thing is, if Jimmy don't get hurt, this would be his only second time playing a whole full season. The motherfucker's still learning how to play the position and still learning Shanahan's system, 100%. As complicated they say it is, and sorry about that, y'all. The lights went out, man. The wifey over there, she did that shit on purpose. She trying to fuck up my tape. But she didn't fuck up my train of thought. So look though. So my thing is with Jimmy being able to be healthy and with everything that they then added, I think they can go ahead and still contend in the NFC with the Bucks, with the Packers. Who else is there? With the Redskins. You know what I mean? I think as one of the 8 teams that's in the NFC, I think it's 8 teams. Yeah, the 7 play and it's only 1 bye. I think the Niners can insert themselves as one of them 7 teams. Not the number 1 seed. I think that'd be with the Bucks, but I think they can. And I hate to sound like a homer, which I am, but barring not the 2020 season and everybody stay healthy, I mean, top to bottom, the Niners have a hell of a roster, 100%. Only key thing with the Niners is the coverage on the outside. You know what I mean? You don't got Sherman back. You got the boy from the Chargers, my boy right here. He's a Chargers fan. I can't even think of my dude's name. He's out of Vacaville. He's a California kid as well. And then you got Emmanuel Mosley. They didn't address the cornerback until 3rd, 4th round, and then they took a safety out of USC, who they say might be like a little baby Palomalo or something like that. My thing is just the secondary. But if the front 7 play well on defense, then you don't got to worry about your secondary because you making the quarterback make mistakes. So that's my key thing, is just the secondary.
Yeah, 49ers fans just got to be praying and hoping, knocking on wood, wearing their lucky skivvies, whatever they got to do for some health this year, man, so we can really see what this team can do. Before they move on from Jimmy, too, especially. You know what I mean? Because who knows? The last time we saw them healthy, they made a run to the Super Bowl.
And the cool thing is that the team that they played in the Super Bowl is the team that Jimmy tore his ACL. I forgot whose show. It might have been on one of our shows or it might have been on somebody else's show. But how ironic is that? Jimmy tore his ACL trying to fight for extra yards. He could have stepped out of bounds and not tore his ACL against the Chiefs. In that game, they was beating the dog shit out of us, but Jimmy was making a comeback. And that was in the 18th season, in 2018, where they didn't have shit. And here it is in 19, he come back fully healthy with, they go get Emmanuel Sanders in week 8 before the deadline. They catch fire, bro. Raheem Mostert at the end of the season get to torching everybody. You know what I mean? So, I got a lot of love for my boys, as y'all can see. But as looking at this schedule and y'all pointing out the cakewalk, oh yeah, without a doubt. We just can't have what we did in East Rutherford. I think that's where the fucking MetLife is. You know what I mean? That fucking turf monster got to eat up all types of shit in the first couple of weeks, the second and third week.
Yeah, the Jets basically ruined the Niners season. Solomon Thomas got injured. Bosa got injured. That was the start of Garoppolo's. And you know what? The Jets still got smoked. They still got smoked, and the Niners lost all their key players. But like Mostert
had like a 60-yard game.
Oh, man.
Fucking Jeff Wilson Jr. had some like a monster just off all on one play. They both hit for monster-ass yards on one play against y'all, but yet here it is. We got a compensation pick from y'all in the 3rd round just based on
Yep.
Y'all took our fucking defensive coordinator. How fucking ironic is that, though, bro? 100%, man.
Hey, I think they owe you a third round pick. I don't know, like you could take the third round pick. I am so happy with Robert Saleh. So that's
I got
okay.
a conspiracy theory, though. I think Salah called Shanahan and let him know that, look, man, we're not doing nothing but taking Zach Wilson. That's why that trade for the Niners to go up and go trade to that third pick is because y'all tapped in and was like, bruh, look, this is what we finna do. Woo, woo. So y'all go ahead, make your move right now. 100%. He did us a solid.
Oh, goodness gracious. Third pick. So I got a guy with a third round pick here who's got a bone to pick as we move over to the Chargers. Did not love Josh Palmer in the third round to his Bolts.
Wow.
But we got Mike on the mic here, big Chargers fan. We got your schedule up here on the screen. Talk to us about this a little bit.
I mean, first of all, I've eased up on the Josh Palmer thing. I just didn't really know who he was when they first picked him. Done some more research, and he's okay. He's a guy
that's the boy out of Tennessee.
Yeah, he's a guy that has some potential to be a go up and get it style receiver with Mike Williams' contract expiring. Maybe he's the replacement. Maybe he's not. I like the shot in the third round now that I've actually gotten to sit down and check out who he is and what his style of play is. It's a good shot for them there in round 3. Maybe they could have gotten round 4 or 5, but hey, if you like the guy, go ahead and get him. It was a really weird draft. People are just drafting people out of nowhere. Other guys were sliding out of nowhere. So I'm not as upset about it as I was in the moment. Really, in the moment, it was just more like, who? We have other needs. That's really was my problem in the beginning. But as far as our schedule, I like it. Like I said, I like the warm up with Washington. We're really going to get tested there. We could lose that game. But at the very minimum, we're going to be able to start building continuity across that offensive line. And that first game is a great test. Man, just get this guy out. Get this guy out the stream. It's like you and Tony planned this, huh, Joe? Huh? You guys planned this, like, I'll pull up the Chargers schedule, and Joe's gonna join the stream in the background. Yeah.
Dead.
Just waited for it. You guys were just waiting for it. And then we got Dallas in week 2. Again, they can be tough. Their offense is gonna be really good, but the Chargers should take care of business there. We're a more complete team than the Dallas Cowboys at this very moment. Kansas City. It's Kansas City. I think we've lost a bunch of games straight to Kansas City that Patrick Mahomes has played in. The one that we beat them in was their backup Chad Henne in the end of last season. Vegas, easy win. Cleveland, that's going to be tough. Probably losing that one. And then Baltimore. So there's some tough teams in that first 5-game window, but I'd rather have those tough teams in the beginning when we're trying to figure it out than at the end of the season when we're trying to make a run into the playoffs. So I'm okay with it. I haven't gotten to look at it too much in depth. I took a glance at it. I think at the end of the season, our schedule lightens up a ton at the end of the year. So I like it.
So here's what I love about it. And it starts with the Philadelphia Eagles, which is pretty much the midway point of the season. You're looking at potential 7-8 wins compiled in the second half of the season. And you're looking at like a 9-win team. Like you get at the Broncos, it's always tough to play there, but like the Bengals, I'm not worried about them. The Giants are coming here. You get the Chiefs, obviously always tough, but you get Texans, you get Broncos at home, and you get the Raiders for your final 3. You guys are going on a run at the end of the season.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean,
it's going to be.
It's another thing that comes down to health because we're used to not doing very well in that category either. But if they can get to like week 6 and be 2-4 or 3-3, I will feel very good about the rest of the year and how it's going to turn out.
Yeah. No, I like it. I'm on this schedule. The game that I'm really looking forward to is the
New England Redemption.
No. I want to see Baltimore. This is about that time when I think that the Chargers could run up the score a little bit, like not run it up, but let's say they get out to like a little bit of a lead. We might get to see Lamar Jackson have to throw the ball and use some of the new toys and open it up a little bit and see if he can, throw it and win against a team that I think has a pretty decent, pretty decent players in the secondary.
Hopefully those are to the guys in blue.
Welcome to the team, Asante Samuel. This is from Lamar Jackson.
Here's Casey Hayward's jersey. We just taped yours in the back.
That was a great pick, too, in the second round. How the fuck did he slide that far? He was projected as a first-round pick. That was a great pick.
Let's hope it's for needs and not something that we haven't discovered yet.
Yeah.
Also, Mike, I've seen 2 good reports on the McKitty guy, too, the tight end. I like
Trey McKinney.
Like the big guy. I like the big guy from Georgia. You have a great quarterback. He'll elevate his play.
I'm starting to like him, too. And he's a lot like a guy we already have on the roster, and Donald Parham. I don't know if you guys heard about him. He was an undrafted guy last year, 6'8", just a big dude. Not very fast, can't really run routes too clean, but when he gets the ball in his hands, he's so hard to bring down. And watching some McKitty tape after he got drafted, that's kind of what he seems like. So it's almost like they're trying to put a mold there. We want big dudes that are going to go up and get the ball at tight end for Justin Herbert when we get down to the red zone. So they got Jared Cook also. So they just got red zone monsters at that tight end position to replace the production for Derrick Henry. And they picked up Steven Anderson, who's a blocking tight end, one of the better blocking tight ends in the league. So I think we filled the Henry hole the best he possibly could have in this offseason.
Yeah, especially with Jared Cook. Joe, I know you're in the background here. Do you want to jump in and do your Raiders now?
Ugh.
You want everybody's like, hey, I got to go. My wife's calling me from the other room.
Yeah, let's talk about the Raiders.
Raiders!
We could put them at 2-11 too.
Yeah, I don't know, but like now looking at the Niners and the Chargers schedule, I'm kind of pissed. Like the second half is a cakewalk. I think the Chargers they'll lose 4 out of those first 6, and then they'll go on a hot streak because it's a cakewalk. Same with the Niners too. I mean, I guess the Niners is more like easy in the top and then kind of hard, but the Chargers, yeah. They got a real shot. They really do, especially with that schedule.
What do you think, Joe? 10 wins? 11 wins total? Not
17.
you morally. No, not morally.
Oh, here we go.
Joe,
I gotta go back to it. I gotta go look back at it, but I think so. Like I think they'll start 2-4. That's kind of what I looked at in the first 6. But just looking at the end of it, yeah, I think 9 and 10 wins is very possible. And now that with the playoff situation, I think they got a chance. And I still can't get used to saying 10 and 7. That's going to take like probably a year or 2 for me to get used to.
All right, Joe, go ahead.
Hey, first of all, I was watching earlier, and you guys went off on the Jets too tough. Come on. 2 wins. Come on, man.
Thank you, Joe. I know. You know what? I know I liked you, and I'm gonna. Let's go Raiders, baby. Let's go.
I was just like,
yeah, let's go Raiders.
The Jets are better than people think. So, but yeah. So you got to back me a little bit on this, Joe.
I got you. Hey, JD had my back too. That's why I knew I liked JD.
This is how politics work. Just back. You guys are supposed to do this behind closed doors. Terrible politicians.
We do it all out here in the public. Everybody,
let's
make
go.
your own opinions right here. But look at this schedule, man. Look at this. This is what did they say? This is the 8th toughest schedule, strength of schedule, and they just get hammered right here at the beginning for the Raiders. Baltimore. Monday night, they get Baltimore, right? And if that's not bad enough, then they got to fly all the way to Pittsburgh Sunday morning. In the morning, they don't even get an afternoon game in the Come on. So they're going to have to get beat up on Monday night, right? Even if they pull that win off, they're going to get beat up and then have to go and play Pittsburgh in the morning, which JD already talked about. When West Coast teams go to the East Coast and they got to play in the morning, it doesn't turn out pretty good. So that's a tough one. Then they got Miami, which, come on. If Tua is your quarterback, we got this one. Yeah, they had to pull Tua last year in the fourth quarter against the Raiders to have a chance. So we got that one. Chargers, get that on out of here. Khalil Mack and the Bears, take that win right there. We'll take the win in Denver. We'll take the win in Philly. I know what you guys are laughing about over here.
They started 6-0 last year, though. Y'all got to remember where they started last year.
Wait, who started 6-0?
I think the Raiders started 6-0 last year.
Well, they started 6-4.
Raiders haven't been 6-0 since Al Davis had like a long crop of hair.
6-4 last year.
Here's what you got to remember about the Raiders.
That's in 10 games. The Raiders would see in their last 8 games, they was 4-4 or something like that. But in the first half of the schedule last year, the Raiders was a great team for sure, bro. They just fizzled out. I don't know what we could chop that up with, but the Raiders have a good roster. It might not be Pro Bowlers up and down, but the Raiders do have a great roster though, for sure.
They fizzle out. They fizzle out.
Let me tell you this:
they suck.
They have a tough schedule, yes, but they play better at home, and they play better in primetime games. And if you look at the schedule right here, they have 4. Possibly the Cleveland game is the 5th primetime game. So schedule makers aren't usually wrong when they make primetime games, and they usually put a team on there that they think is going to win or have a good season. So laugh all you guys want, but I'm looking at 9 to 10 wins right here.
Yo, Joe, no, keep going. You were at 7-0 week 7. You saying they're going to finish the season? Only 2 more wins? Keep it going.
I'm not saying 7-0. Okay. Do I think they win one of these games right here in week 1, week 2? Yes, they pull one of those games off. Not going to say which one, but I think they pull one of those games off. I'm going to assume it's the Pittsburgh game. So let's say they go 1-1. I think they beat Miami 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5, 6, 7. Then they go lost.
Not 7-0, 7-1. Okay, let's
7-1, 7-2, 8-2. Then they'll lose to Dallas. They'll lose to Washington. They'll lose to Kansas City again. They'll lose to Cleveland.
Oh, so you guys are going back to falling apart at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I think we're at like 9-5 or 9-6 now.
They'll sweep Denver. So we're looking at 8 right there. Well, 8 wins, 9 wins. Like I said, 9 and what? What is it now? 9-8?
9-8. That's fair. That's fair. I think 9-8 is very fair, to be honest with you.
But if they have a hot start like they have, okay, so they went 6-3 2 years ago, finished 8-8. They went 6-4 last year, finished 9-7. So if they start 7-1 this year, like I'm predicting, and then they finish 9-8, bye Gruden. You got
Hey Joe, we going in week 18?
See you, dude.
We going in week 18?
Huh?
Are we going in week 18? Oh no, you play in Las Vegas in week 18. I guess we still.
No, we gotta go week. What is that? The Monday night. It's a Monday night game, right? Week 4.
Oh, that's gonna be a fun one.
Hey, Morley, you're in California, bro?
Yes, us.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
Are you coming to JD? You coming in week 4?
Yeah, I'm in Sacramento.
Okay. Yeah. I'm in Derek Carr's hometown, Bakersfield.
Oh, okay. I got family in Fresno.
We don't claim Fresno though.
That's okay. Fresno do their own thing. You know, them Bulldogs do their own thing. But yeah, but when you go to Vegas, you got to go through Bakersfield. Bakersfield is the halfway point to Vegas when you're driving.
Yeah, Tony knows about that. Tony loves Bakersfield.
Bakersfield is a great place to grab a cheeseburger and drop a load. From
where I'm at, just the first 4-hour drive. That's the first half.
Morley,
what
Joe
does that
Morley is
mean?
My favorite thing about it could be anything. You can feel free to interpret that however you want. Joe, I need to talk to you real quick because here's the good news. Somebody's getting fired at the end of this year. It's Mayock or it's Gruden. Somebody's gone because it's not Derek Carr's fault. Like people have said, there is talent. But if these draft picks don't step up, the ones they made last year and the year before that, and start playing, Joe, this schedule they gave you guys is ridiculous. They realize that they finish 8-8 or 7-9 every year. And this schedule that you guys got, you guys get Washington, which we've already talked about is a tough defense. Then you follow that with Kansas City and Cleveland. Like these teams, one's going to run up the score and the other team's physically going to beat you guys up on defense. You get a little bit of a respite against
Wait. They beat Cleveland last year, just to let you know.
Yeah, but it's a whole new Cleveland
game.
team. It's not my Super Bowl Cleveland Browns right now. It's not like that was last year's Cleveland Browns. But I'm talking about my Super Bowl Cleveland Browns this year. It's not going to happen, Joe.
You know what this is? You guys know what this is. Mike probably doesn't know because he's probably never seen it. This is a second place schedule right here. So that means the Raiders came in second place last year to Kansas City. Can you tell me who's better in their division than the Raiders right now, except for Kansas City? Nobody.
The Chargers and the Broncos. Yes.
I think the Chargers are for sure, and the Broncos. It depends on how conservative they play with Teddy Two Gloves.
We're okay. I'll give you that because we're in Charger hype season right now. A couple months, it'll be gone.
I made that banner for you. I made the title Chargers hype season for you.
But I could see you guys splitting with Denver, and I could see you guys splitting with us. So I don't think there's any easy games for the Raiders in this schedule other than Philadelphia.
Yeah, I honestly I don't.
No, it's a tough schedule.
The Giants.
Sure.
I think they could go out there and surprise a Giants team. Everybody's like, "Oh, traveling west, it's tough," and then Derek Carr throws for like 400 yards. It could be something like that.
I hate those morning games.
Dallas could be a shootout.
I don't know this Broncos hype here. Like, we're looking at the 2020 Panthers with the Broncos. I mean, the Broncos aren't going to win more than 6 games. I think any team that is in that division could easily sweep the Broncos. That's how I'm thinking. I mean, come on. Like, what are we looking at? Teddy Bridgewater? Like, why? Because he went 5-0 with Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, and the best surrounding cast in the NFL? Like, come on. Like, I'm not buying into that hype. I will give the Raiders 2 wins against the Broncos, not because Joe defended me, just because that's truly how I feel. Like, I don't get this Broncos hype right now. I've been sitting back, relaxing, but I don't get it.
And I appreciate it, and I love it.
With the Broncos, my thing is, even though Bridgewater played damn near the whole season out without McCaffrey, I think the Broncos have a better offensive weapons than what they do in Carolina. 100%. You give me a healthy Sutton, you give me a healthy Cortland Sutton, you give me Noah Fant, a KJ Hamler, a Tim Patrick, you then brought in Javonte Williams. You know what I mean? I think that Teddy Bridgewater, he's going to be able to put up some nice numbers in Denver without a doubt. That's boring if he wins the fucking job. I mean, it should be a quarterback competition, and we're not to see that, by bringing in Bridgewater, that just lights a fire under Drew Lock's ass. Because if he can't beat out Teddy B, then this might be it. This might be backup status for him for the rest of his career. You know what I mean? But to me, I think that the Broncos do have some better weapons than what Teddy B had in fucking in Carolina, because he didn't play with C-Mac. And then you had Mike Davis, who finished in fantasy as a top 12 RB without a doubt. And you give me a Javonte Williams, a bruiser. I think I like the weapons in Denver better than what he had in Carolina. But not to say that that's just going to make them a playoff team and whatnot. I think that the Raiders can go ahead, if not split, go ahead and beat them or sweep them without a doubt. You know what I mean? No, definitely without a doubt.
Here's why the Broncos are better, and I'll make this real quick. They have an identity with Fangio, and they're going to run the football. They're going to play conservative, just like Teddy Bridgewater did when he had that little run with the Saints. He wasn't airing the ball out all over. They're going to run the ball. They're going to play defense. I like the pick of Surtain, healthy Chubb, healthy Vaughn. They're not going to be great. They're not going to be world beaters. It's not going to be a cakewalk for the Raiders to just get 2 wins, especially in Mile High. The Broncos are a tough out. Everybody talks about it to go.
I'm sold. Once you mentioned identity and Fangio, that's when I know it's gone. I mean, me and Brian, fanny pack Fangio. I think Fangio shouldn't have a job right now. Like, he should not have a job. Like, that dude shouldn't have even been hired. He was like, what is he, 60 years old? And he's been around the block forever as a DC. And then you just suddenly hire him and say, hey, let's just try to develop my young quarterback in Drew Lock, Vic Fangio, even though you're a defensive mind. I don't know. Identity and Fangio, it doesn't sit too well in my stomach.
It doesn't have to be the best identity, right? But at least Fangio knows what he wants to be. He wants to be conservative and run the football. With Drew Lock, he doesn't do that. He turns the ball over too much, so you can't play to Fangio's strengths. Fangio's not going to be the guy long term. He'll be fired at the end of the year too.
With that hire, they were trying to rekindle that 2015 season when they won the Super Bowl, when Von Miller, and I can't even think who was on the other side of Von Miller right now, when they were go ahead and DeMarcus Ware, the OG, 100%, was trying to rekindle that magic right there. You got to understand, Vic Fangio come from the Harbaugh system, Jim Harbaugh when he was in Frisco. He was the DC over there on their little 3-4 year run. You know what I mean? But they had Pro Bowlers everywhere. on that fucking defense. And so I don't know why. It was a questionable hire for sure. 100%.
I got a question for both the Joes. Other than at quarterback, where are the Raiders better than the Broncos? Other than at quarterback.
Coaching. I'll tell you that right now. Since John Gruden's taken over the Raiders, and you can talk whatever you want, or in the last 2 seasons, let's say the last 2 seasons, because that's what Vic Fangio's been the coach for 2 seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Raiders are 3-1 against Vic Fangio. The only loss they have is a week 17 loss that basically the Raiders gave them. They went for 2 instead of tying the game with the extra point, basically gave them the loss because the season was over. 3-1 against Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio defense is nothing against John Gruden. John Gruden can eat him for dinner.
Vic Fangio is like a defensive god, dude. That's kind of his only.
Eat him for dinner.
That's the only reason that he even has a job is because he's a defensive guy. And you can't really count last year's games. The Broncos were ravished with injuries, like absolutely destroyed. Like everyone, their number 1 receiver gone, their number 1 pass rusher gone. I think their number 1 cornerback was gone. Everyone was out last year, and he beat him by 1 point in January.
And so that's the only team that we're going to give a pass on because they had a couple injuries. You didn't see the 49ers lay down. They went out and won 6 games with all those injuries. You didn't see all the other teams lay down, but the Broncos get a pass because they had a couple guys hurt. Last time I checked, every team has injuries.
It's not a pass. It's not a pass. The question is, who's better at wide receiver, the Broncos or the Raiders? The Broncos. Who's better at running back?
It doesn't matter. It's how you play the game. And
Raiders not even close at running back. It's not even close.
How's it not even close?
Jacob, wait. You're going to compare the Broncos guy that you always tear on him, Melvin Gordon. You're going to say he's better than Jacobs and Kenyon Drake? Are you kidding me? And
Melvin Gordon ain't going to be the guy in Denver for longer than
Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams. Denver's going to, or Melvin's going to be second. I said
Javonte Williams, the guy who's
Josh Jacobs can't even make it through a whole season without getting banged up and so talking about passes.
You got Kenyon Drake and Javonte Williams, who split carries with Michael Carter, who got drafted in the 4th round. I will take the Raiders all day with running.
This gonna get me fucked up all over social media.
Did Kenyon win you those fantasy championships last year?
Who?
He's super good. He's super good. And now the Raiders question marks at offensive line also. That's what their strength always was.
Where? Did you not
I'm going to say running back.
I will take the Raiders offense in a very, very slight manner, but I will take the Denver defense by a wide gap. I'll take Denver to win one of those.
JD,
games.
Tell this guy, JD.
This take right here gonna get me fucked up over all social media. My take is right now where the Raiders is better at than the motherfucking Broncos is at the GM, because the Raiders have trusted in their quarterback. John Elway is still trying to find his fucking quarterback. Unless Aaron Rodgers, what they say, wants to come to fucking Denver right now, and John Elway got blessed with Peyton Manning come. John Elway, you got a Brock Osweiler, you got a Paxton Lynch, all types of fucking quarterbacks that he done brought in specifically and ain't did shit, bruh. The Raiders, since John Gruden and Mike Mayock done been there, they done made sure that they tried to invest in trying to get Derek Carr as much as he can to succeed. Because before they got there, Derek Carr was an MVP candidate. He got hurt in week 15 or 16 on a back injury, he was an MVP candidate, and we had fucking Connor Cook come in and play a playoff game. So the Raiders – I like Derek Carr 100%. I'm not trying to bash on him, and I ain't trying to stick up for Morley, but just seeing what I've seen, I'm fucking with the Raiders, and I'm fucking with them having a better GM than John Elway, a Pro Bowl, Hall of Famer, etc. as quarterback, but he can't get the quarterback position right that he done been there since I don't know how many years he done been there. You know, Peyton Manning and fell into his fucking lap. Other than that, man, he's been drafting buses away.
Denver wins in Denver. Las Vegas wins in Las Vegas. They split 1-1. It's not that crazy. The Raiders aren't that good. The Raiders aren't making the playoff. The Raiders didn't even improve. They didn't even improve this offseason. Not at all. They got worse. They got worse. Who'd they add?
We had this conversation every year. You're a Charger fan. I understand the hope that and the faith that you have in your team, but just realize The Raider Nation is better. It's a little bit better. We're not saying it. Hey, relax. Chargers will get that third place banner again. It's all right.
We aren't even talking about the Chargers. You already had your chance to roast the Chargers. We're talking about the Raiders here.
And I'm telling you, the Raiders 9 to 10 wins. 9 to 10 wins this season. Put it on the board right now.
Well, we bet on the board.
We'll find something. We'll bet on it.
We'll find
but look, JD told you. Joe told you. Tony doesn't matter because Tony's flipping teams and he's becoming a Charger fan.
Oh man. Both JD and Joe basically said, yeah, they're good enough to win a couple games next year. That's what they're basically saying. They're mad that I'm squashing them because I hate them. They're defending you.
But you have nothing but, hey,
they're trying to give you
bring to the table.
How many wins for the Raiders, Joe? Let's call it right now.
I told you 9 to 10. 9 or 10.
No.
They only had, like, this is one question I have been waiting to ask everybody, and somebody will be able to tell me. How is it determined who gets the odd or even like number of home games? Because the Raiders only get 8 home games on top of this super hard schedule. I have no idea how they're decided. Are they flip-flopping like 2 teams?
No, we actually got the 9th home game. It's SoFi Stadium in LA.
Stop it. Oh my goodness. I mean,
I don't know how they do
it. The tough thing is, let me double in on that. Because the Raiders had first shots at being the second tenant in SoFi, but they knew that if the Raiders was to come back to LA, they would be the most dominant team in LA besides the other 2 teams that's there right now. So they had to ship their ass a year later to Vegas because they didn't want the Raiders to control the markets. Kroenke, he already knew, man, we can't have the Raiders here, man. It's going to be a silver and black no matter what. Even if Kroenke, the Rams are playing at home, we're going to see silver and black through this whole motherfucker.
We don't need any of you fake fans anyways. We don't need any fake fans anyways. Y'all go ahead and be Raiders fans. You'll keep going. Freaking whatever it is now, what 7 and 10? You'll keep going 7 and 10.
Ice Cube still.
Anyway. Hey JD, what Niners, right?
Yeah, the gang.
So you see the Niner fan and a Raider fan coming together on this show to go against and take the Charger fan down. You don't see that. Usually the 49er Raider fans are going at it.
I've been to the Coliseum and had plenty of these before and turned up with the silver and black. 100%. The Coliseum ain't nothing but an hour away from where I'm at, man. I done turned up with them dudes, man. Them is my guys. 100%. My cousin, which is my co-host Kevin, his dad used to hold season tickets at the Coliseum for like 4-5 years. So I done been to y'all home opener for like 4 years straight, bro. And had a great time, 100%. I fuck with y'all.
What?
I just can't. I can't stand the Cowboys.
The stadium.
Okay, gentlemen, hang on a second.
It's the history in the stadium. It's not the Raiders.
Are we being trolled right here? Got no drip. Reveal yourself. Got no drip.
Got no drip. Said.
Vikings are now on the clock. I need to see your schedule right this second.
The Vikings.
Pull that Viking schedule up. Let's check this out.
In the north.
Got no drip. You got to get this. You better not go away because I'm going to need you to defend this. Can somebody else control the screen share too?
Yeah, we got it. What do you need?
Got it? Oh, I don't know if it's voice activated. I'm a little buzzed. So I'm not even sure if I'm
Siri,
hitting the right button.
pull up the Vikings. Siri, pull up the motherfucking Vikings schedule.
You got it or not? Or you need me to pull it up for you?
No, I got it. I just I'm not clicking anything, and the Viking schedule is just appearing, and I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, I said give me the Viking schedule, and it showed up. Here we go. Vikings gonna win the North. Let me see the schedule. You get the Bengals, the Cardinals.
Loss. Win, loss. So you got to win. You got to win against Cincinnati. You lose against Arizona. You lose against Seattle. You lose against Cleveland. You beat Detroit. You lose against Carolina. You lose against Dallas. I can't see the. I can't see what the. Oh yeah, you lose against Baltimore. You lose against Los Angeles. You lose against Green Bay. You lose against San Francisco.
Dang.
You beat Detroit. You beat Detroit. Oh, I got to see it now. I can't even see it.
We'll give it.
You beat Detroit. I give you the Pittsburgh win. I give you Chicago. You lose against Los Angeles. I'll give you, and then I'll split the Green Bay.
Dang, like that.
So yeah, you're not winning the North. Sorry.
I think if you add it up, it's you're not winning.
Carolina, really? Yeah, Carolina, really? I mean,
Hey, I'll tell you right now.
They have. Hey, I know it. If Carolina doesn't win, I know why they didn't win. It's because of Sam Darnold. But if they do win, it's because your secondary is not that good. It's not that good.
Where are you at, Brian? We're yelling at each other in here.
Carolina Panthers top 10 offense next year.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, I take back the they're gonna win the Pittsburgh game too. It's a primetime game. Kirk Cousins is still the quarterback there.
True. He's had what, 1 win in Monday night? Is that what it was?
Yeah, in prime time, his record is not good.
I
love the confidence.
That's a lot. That's a tough schedule, though. That's a very tough schedule.
That's super tough. That's a super tough schedule, man. That's tough. I'm not even trying to be a dick here.
Who do they got? Which one? Don't go back up?
So it starts off nice with Cincinnati. I think Arizona's also like, it's a good game. I don't think Arizona's like a world beater, but it's on the road. So you're back to back on the road to open the season. Then you get
Arizona.
Then
possibly 4-2, 3-3.
So we're not worried about Minnesota putting up points. We're worried about Minnesota being able to stop people, and with them bringing in Patrick Peterson. You know what I mean? I know they had it in Ngakoue that he's in Oakland right now. I think they traded from traded Jacksonville to go get Ngakoue and then shipped his ass off to Baltimore. You know what I mean? So, I don't see where the pass rush comes from in Minnesota. I know they, like I said, they went and got Patrick Peterson, but I don't think Minnesota's defense is stopping anybody this year. I know the offense, is putting up, 25, 26, maybe even 27 points per game, which is a lot in the NFL. You know what I mean? Once you start to get close to that 30 point per game, you're a top tier offensive team in the NFL. 30 points per game, that's the benchmark to where, it's if you can't put up 30, you're not going to win. You know what I mean? So, but I don't see them winning the North for sure, especially if Aaron Rodgers stays in the North. You know what I mean? Motherfucking Chicago, they were a playoff team last year, even though that they do have Andy Dalton, which I don't see him, lighting shit up, but they still have that defense, which is top notch, and they'll be able to get stops, even though we're in the NBA playoff range here within the next 5 games. But in order to win an NBA championship, you have to have stops, just like in the NFL. If you can't get no stops, you're not doing that 100%. So the Vikings ain't stopping nobody without a doubt. So
I love Zimmer though.
So what's his name?
I think he's a great coach.
He is a great coach.
He's a great defensive coach, but he hasn't had that defense in Minnesota do nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing 6 to 7 wins. So Got Drip, if you're still watching, we got something for you. You about your NFC championship. That's a lie.
I will say this, got no drip. This could be a strong reality. This could be the NFC East if Rodgers leaves. If Rodgers ends up with the Broncos or with the Raiders, I hope he ends up with the Raiders or Texans for sure. But if he leaves the division, no matter where he goes, this division will be up in the air because you'll have a really bad team at the bottom in Detroit, and then you kind of have, who knows, Jordan Love, is he going to be able to win the division? No, I'd give it to Kirk Cousins and them, depending on what Andy Dalton and the Bears can do.
I don't know. It's tough.
Justin Fields.
It would be a toss-up, but if either Justin Fields comes in and is good, or if Jordan Love is good, I mean, that team's built to win. You know what I mean? They've been building that team to be an NFC championship team for the last couple of seasons. So if Jordan Love is even just, let's say, average or slightly above average, the Packers are still going to be contending just because, like you said, the division is going to be rough. I don't know. Kirk is one of those middle-of-the-pack guys, kind of like your Derek Carrs and stuff, a guy that needs built team around him to succeed and a really good defense. If you could tell me that the Vikings are going to have a healthy Dalvin Cook for 17 games this year, I may be willing to put them in the wild card picture. Maybe. Because then that gives them a chance to put up those points to make up for the poor defense. But do I think he will? Has he yet? No. So I don't think he will. He misses 4 to 5 games each year.
Yeah. All right.
My thing is with just the Packers, if they do lose Aaron Rodgers, They're not built to win because Aaron Rodgers makes them built to win. Other than that, Jordan Love is not Aaron Rodgers, nowhere near. And you got successful outside. I mean, even with Aaron Jones, other than that, you got a Devontae Adams, I can't even think of the other receivers right now. Shout out to my whiskey right here that's got me kind of feeling good. But I can't even think of nobody else besides Aaron Jones on the offensive side of the ball right now that's even going to help Jordan Love continue.
Tunyon?
Who? Bob Tunyon. Okay, there we go. Somebody in which, if you go look at his numbers, even though he had a top 5 finish in fantasy, his shit separated from Waller and fucking Kelsey 80 points. You know what I mean? He was just so up and down in the whole shit. I don't think so, bro. I think that the Packers, if they lose Rodgers, they're a 6-11 team, a 7-10 team.
I'm keeping in mind when I say that when Rodgers leaves to win that division, it goes from getting 12 to 13 games to getting 9 to 10 games, or even 8 games maybe. So I think Green Bay could compete still with the division being that weak if Jordan Love doesn't just suck.
Now, it depends on the quarterback.
Devontae Adams doesn't matter. Rob Tunyon doesn't matter. Jordan Love absolutely stinks. But if he can just be average and they can kind of lean on the star players they got around the quarterback there, and Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams and Tunyon, maybe they'd still be in contention.
You put Derek Carr on the Packers, how many they win?
11.
You put so if Derek Carr's in that package, if you put Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater on the Packers, how many they winning?
Less.
Yeah, like 8 or 9 maybe.
Yeah.
And then the worst case scenario, they start Jordan Love and they're like horrible, right?
Yeah, they're 4 and 13 or whatever the new calendar is. We brought up fantasy. Well, JD did, and I know he's big into fantasy. I had some questions for you guys. Joe's Raiders versus Miami week 3.
Yeah, I was just about to say Joe just did like a little plug Aaron Rodgers to Las Vegas type thing right there. We just went over that. He's like Derek Carr in Green Bay. How would that look?
No, I hate you, motherfuckers. I hate you, and I hate you. I hate everything about you. You got them chicken teeth. That is a classic skit.
That's what LaFleur is going to be saying to all his quarterbacks when he's got.
Welcome to the player hater ball.
Player hater ball.
Blake Bortles, Jordan Love, and Drew Lock are your 3 quarterbacks to choose from. Have fun with that one, LaFleur.
That's how Mike sounds right now, huh?
Good luck.
Hate.
I had a couple of other things where we go, because I know that JD's big into fantasy. Is there anybody, like, based on, because this is something I always like to do. I always like to think about a couple players I'm going to draft the next year. Like, one of the guys that I was really thinking about, and I've already looked at the schedule, that's why I'm using it as an example. I was really excited about drafting, like, Jalen Hurts, like, at the end of the draft, right? And then I go ahead and I look when the schedule comes out, and I'll look at these players that I like to see. His fantasy playoffs would be terrible even if he was on my roster, right? And then I get discouraged, and I always talk myself out of starting guys like that. Is there anybody like that, or like the beginning of the season that you look at, you draft, you're like, fuck it, I don't want this guy on my roster anymore. Like, the schedule's too tough. They have this run. They have this playoff schedule. Does anybody else draft fantasy players based on that? Or is this why I'm always in second place?
I think for the playoff run, for sure. Mm-hmm. Definitely the fantasy playoff run, you're definitely looking at that. You know what I mean? But I think for the beginning of the schedule, that shit is just so wide open. You know what I mean? You can see a fucking a Baker torch. You know what I mean? But then go like last year and play Morley's team. It was a 12-9 game at home. You know what I mean? And he didn't do nothing. But yet he has his ups and downs and shit like that. And the cool thing is, I'm so high on Baker. I got Baker as a top 12 quarterback this year in fantasy. That's one of my takes, 100%. And shout out to the sports me, because I think we're all on the sports me. You know, I dropped that about 3 months ago, 2 months ago, where I said that I think Baker is a top 12 quarterback this year, bro, 100%. But to get back to what you was talking about, Tony, yeah, definitely you take all the games in par and whatnot, and see with me in a redraft, in a 12-team redraft, a single quarterback, I'm taking 2 quarterbacks. Now, when you got a school, I see you dusting off the belt over there too. That's what's up. When you got a super flex, the quarterback is the main position, so you got to make sure that you have your quarterbacks right in your super flex. You know what I mean? And that's where I met Turn Up the Facts at. You know what I mean? AKA Turn Up the Jets, my dog Joe. I met him in a super flex, man, and we was battling 100%. So yeah, I definitely pay attention to the schedule. I pay attention to motherfucking the competition, you know, whether it be in the backfield, whether it be, you know, the wide receiver 1 or the 2 who's taking away, you know, opportunities and shit like that. 100%, bro.
Okay, so I just want to throw this up real quick. This is why I brought this up. So I was like really excited about, how do I get this thing in? Joe, where is it? Joe, can you put the screen share back up there? I don't know how to get it back up, and I'm too inebriated to figure it out. Here we go. 15. So I was like looking through the schedule, and I was like, oh, this is good. And then I see the 15 through 17, and we get Washington, New York, Washington. And I just didn't love it at all. Like, I just don't want really any part of the Washington football team. And this is always what happens. I will talk myself out of players who probably would give me a good start to the fantasy season because I am so obsessed with jumping ahead, and then being like, well, I cannot draft them anymore because I already know their playoff schedule is something I don't like.
Here's what I do. During the draft, I don't look at playoffs. I mean, if I need to, and it comes down to like 1 or 2 players, and I'm like, okay, am I going to pick this one or the other one? Then I'll look at the schedule. But other than that, I'm picking best available player. During the season, I'll start looking at their schedule. And if it looks like it's going to get tougher, I'll try to hop in a week before and try to trade that dude. I'm not afraid to pull the trigger on a trade. I'll let you know that. Because if you ain't trading, you ain't trying in fantasy football. I'll throw that out there right now. But that end of the schedule, like you're looking at it right now, that it's tough right now. And we're like, okay, so then we get to the draft and you're like, oh, it's still a tough schedule. But then who's to say that those 3 teams are still going to be good at the end of this year, that they're not going to be figured out, that they're not going to be – it could end up being the best schedule. So I would hold on to him for a little bit longer. If you feel that he's going to be your guy, your quarterback, and you want him and you drafted him, hold on to him until at least midseason and then see where those defenses are by then.
Yeah, me and Joe are probably going to trade 5-6 times amongst our teams when we do this Warzone Sports.
Oh, I love trading.
League. By the way, you're invited officially to the Warzone Fantasy Football League since you're here for this conversation. Joe, you can win fantasy championships, right? Unless you have Julio Jones on your roster. Then you can't.
Somebody told us that nobody can ever win a championship with Julio Jones on their fantasy team, and I won. But I don't know. I don't think you should take schedules into effect. Just make the trade. Like if you need to make the move, but I'll tell you this: trust your gut in fantasy. So, Tony, if you feel it, and then you're like, oh, I want to trade this guy, and then you hold on to him, and then you're going to be wrong because trade him if you feel like trading him.
Tony, Joe just wants you to trade him to him.
I don't see. This thing is I don't have him. I did this. Joe Skirto, I did the same thing with your guy Corey Davis because I was like, I really felt like, oh, this year I'm going to have a bunch. Everybody's talking shit about Corey Davis, but I loved him being the number 1 in New York. And I was like, if he gets there and he gets on a good page and you hear anything positive whatsoever out of Jets camp, I'm going to have a lot of Corey Davis in fantasy football. And then I look at the schedule and I always like talk myself out of it. Before the draft, we're months away from any sort of fantasy football draft in my world. And I've already talked myself out of 2 guys that I like just because I overanalyzed the schedule like an insane person.
I don't look into the schedule that much. The only time I'm looking at a schedule is when I have a defense. You know, like that's really what I'm looking at is when I have a defense and I'm going against a good offense. If you actually believe in a player, then you got to take him. You got to feel your gut. So, you know, you're looking at Corey Davis as the number 1. If you actually think Jalen Hurts is the guy, which I will tell you, I don't think he is. But if you do, you got to go with your gut. So I don't really look into schedule. The only time I look really into schedule is the defense or if I'm picking up a free agent. When I'm drafting, schedule doesn't matter. If I have faith in my guy, if I think he's going to score points, I'm going to draft him.
Yeah, I like the Eagles for garbage time. That's why I like Hurts. Like, I don't think he's the future of the Eagles, but I think for fantasy, he gets a lot of that sort. You remember like the run that the guy like Tebow had, or, you know, like you pick up so much with the rushing and then you get to throw these against these easy prevent defenses because the other team is up by 17 points at the end of the game. I feel like there's going to be a lot of that for Jalen Hurts this year.
You want me to throw some more in there for you, Tony, to overanalyze?
I've already gone pretty hard into it.
No. Start looking at the weather, man. You never know for these kickers, receivers. Start looking at the weather for these games. You see snow and rain. You might not want to put Baker out there.
You guys are all going to be in a fantasy league with me at one or another this year, and you'll be like, how many times is this guy going to change his lineup before kickoff? My flex will rotate. I will sit. People will be like, did you seriously just sit Aaron Jones? And I'm like, I don't like it. Too much rain in Buffalo today. It's not going to be good traction. And I will do the dumbest shit in fantasy football. And then I will talk shit like it's your fault at the end of the game. Like, you made me do it. You made me crazy.
Hey, you ever text anybody like that you're playing that week and be like, hey, I did this a couple seasons ago. I saw LaShawn McCoy. They just showed him walking into the stadium. He's limping, dude. He's limping. It's raining. It's not good. And then your opponent will bench him.
I've never done anybody dirty like that. No,
that's not dirty. That's
if you can talk your opponent out of playing a player, he doesn't need to be in your league.
Exactly.
Hey, if he didn't have
100%,
he don't need to be there.
You don't got the heart to start him. He don't need to be there. Look at my dog Chris, man. 100%, bro. That's the true definition of heart to start, bro. You better have a heart to start your boy. 100%.
It sounds like Tony shouldn't even be playing fantasy football right now.
I shouldn't. I'm just
this dude is backing out of everything already.
For the financial, I am a financial donator, and I'll talk a lot of shit throughout the year like I'm going to win, but I always finish in second or third place.
Tony, but the league needs a shit talker, though. Every league that we're all in, whether it be we all in the same league or in individually, we need somebody that's going to keep the chat alive. 100%. Yes, so you're definitely welcome in any league that I'm in for sure. Because sometimes that motherfucker be silent.
I've quit multiple leagues because you get in there and nobody talks, and it's like you go the whole season. And you're like, you try to no trades, you try to talk crap, and then they're like quiet, and it's like, yeah, I'm not coming back to this league next year because it's not about winning; it's about talking crap. That's all. Hey, I don't care if I'm losing going into Monday night, but I got 2 players going and I'm down by 80. Those 2 players are going to give me 80 coming.
All right, 7. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I need to be focused. I just looked up. I was like, shit, it's 8:37. I got kids in there. Nobody call social services. They're fine. They're brushing their teeth. They're big kids. They're going to bed on time. 7, who's your team? Who's your
I'm
squad?
a Steeler fan, man. I'm a Steeler fan.
A Steeler fan. I love it. I put up this Roethlisberger jersey for you. Let's bring up the Steelers schedule. I can already tell you right now, they're about a 6-win team, just off the top of my head.
Oh, man.
We know they got that loss in week 2.
Sounds like a brand new Browns fan to me.
I am a brand new Browns fan.
I thought you're going to be a Chargers fan.
But you know, I ride every hype train till the wheels fall off.
I say you're a Cowboys fan.
No, this year. I've already been saying this to because me and my brother kind of are secretly Steeler fans, just because we keep that tradition alive for my mom. We watch a lot of Steelers games. We have a lot of Steelers gear. Joe, when your mother, who you love more than anybody in the world, passes away, you keep all the fucking traditions you want alive for her. I keep this one alive for her. Bad Roethlisberger.
Like the 4th team that you said that you're secretly rooting for.
No. This is the only team I secretly root for. I publicly root for the Browns. Joe, don't let this liquor take over here on this show. Let's look at this Pittsburgh Steelers schedule.
2 losses, 3 losses, 4 losses. Dang.
Hey, stop it,
Damn.
Joe. I was in here. I was in here when you said 7-1, and that one loss was to Pittsburgh. So don't even try now. I was here.
No. I said they're gonna win one against Baltimore or Pittsburgh, and I said probably Pittsburgh. They probably get that win.
I think I agree with him too.
I heard. We can pull back the tape. I think I heard you the other way.
Rewind.
Okay, Seven, I have a question for you because I've been hearing a lot of this. Everybody keeps going, the people are sleeping on Najee Harris. He's the thing that's going to help out the run game. I think that is a very miscalculated thing. I think the offensive line has more problems, and I think the fact that Ben Roethlisberger is a statue in that offense is not helping them out. Do you think Najee Harris can turn around the run game that much?
Turn around to a certain extent, but I wouldn't expect like Le'Veon Bell production. A lot of people forget James Conner is just not that good of a running back. So while the offensive line is not superior or elite, it's average. It's not the worst. It's not the standard for Pittsburgh. I'll give you that. Harris is a special talent. I didn't want him. We got him. And you just got to deal with it. It was a need. They've been in the bottom 3 for rushing the last 2 years. So he will help, but he will not fix the issue. I mean, you have to have a capable running back and a decent offensive line, and they barely have a decent offensive line. And that division, you got to play Baltimore twice. You have to play Cleveland twice, and those teams are probably going to both have top 5, top 6 defenses.
Yeah. No, I agree. They lost the Villanueva, the soldier.
He was
Pouncey.
Pouncey
hurts.
Pouncey hurts.
Yeah.
But they let him walk. Anyone that let you, if you're good, you're going to get traded or you're going to get re-signed or you're going to get tagged. They let him walk.
Yeah, and they drafted a tight end. The kid from Penn State who I like. I was just like, but isn't Ebron fine or whoever they have there? Like, why is this happening right now? I don't know. I'm looking at this schedule here. Buffalo, I don't like that game. Cincinnati, I don't like Green Bay. They get Denver at home. Okay. Yeah. But still, you know what else? Here's the other thing, too. Watching them get smacked around by the Browns, that really was like, wait, this never happens? Like, I'm kind of almost like overreacting a little bit to how bad they're going to be. And maybe like trying to make myself emotionally feel a little bit better in case they are bad. Because I really like Mike Tomlin, too. Like, he's a great coach. I wish that I would have had a football coach like Mike Tomlin.
Yeah. That's a good take, Tony, and that's why I feel too. Because every year I come out here in the offseason and say the Steelers are going to fall off, and they just find a way to stay in it. Even with that year where they had a bunch of injuries, and you have, the guy named Duck at quarterback and all kinds of stuff. Like, they still were competitive that year.
Yeah,
they still were. I think they won 7 or 8 games that year still. So like
9.
I'm going 9.
9. They won 9 games.
Like 3 quarterbacks that year.
Yeah,
I think the defense can only take you so far. But I'm not going to be as hard on the Steelers this offseason because Mike Tomlin and the coaching staff that he works with have proven to me at this point that they're going to be competitive still, no matter what, no matter who's out there on the field, just because they're that good.
TJ and Minka. Mm-hmm. TJ and Minka is carrying them boys right now, bro, 100%. And then you give me a first-round pick in fucking Najee, even though that we just talked about Villanueva and Pouncey gone, but you still got the Castro there, you know what I mean? And even though we're not expecting Le'Veon numbers, all we need him to do is take from Ben throwing 50 times a game, 40 times a game, to throwing maybe even 30 times and getting Najee to carry the ball 25, 30 touches, whether it be, 20 rushes and 10 receptions or, just 10 targets, to where Ben is not throwing the ball 40 times. Ben is almost 40 years old. We're not seeing Ben, the big Ben with the gold tee in his rookie season go against the Broncos and lose in Denver, but coming in his second year and play Seattle in the Super Bowl. you got to understand that Ben done been through the whole shit through the whole soap opera of the NFL. He's about to be 40 years old, bruh. Give me Najee and that defense, and you got a Deontay, which I'm a Deontay trooper. You know, if you go look at anything that I said last year or last season on our podcast, bro, I'm a Deontay trooper. And then you got Chase Claypool. You bring back Juju for 1 year. You know what I mean? Ben don't got to throw the ball. And you got this defense. As a fantasy guy, we seen him getting 25, 30 points per game last year. The Pittsburgh defense was balling last year. They started 11-0.
Yeah, I agree. I don't sleep on Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin has never been under 500 as a head coach. So anyone that says that Pittsburgh is going to be bad in the next, 9 to 10 weeks, like 6 losses in the first 9 weeks, that's never happened. That has never happened in the history of Mike Tomlin. He is a top 3 coach in the league. Look at the statistics. The guy that was saying that Look at the statistics. Was going to North. So my bad, Joe. No, I agree with you. That I'm the one who gave them, I think, 11 losses. So I'm just someone who. Stop sleeping on the Steelers. They're going to be competitive. Are they going to win a Super Bowl? Maybe not, just because how good that North is. But are they going to be competitive? Yeah, they are. They're not going to go under 500 because Mike Tomlin has never done that, and I don't plan on him doing that anytime soon.
Yeah,
but they did go 11-0 last year.
As bad as the situation is, it's been worse. It's been worse.
Yes, right. A lot worse. Duck Hodges, Mason Rudolph. Like we said, Juju was hurt that year. Connor was hurt. That's when AB and Le'Veon left, and they still won 9 games.
Mm-hmm. They just gotta make their opponents play defense. Last year at the end of the year, everyone figured out that all you gotta do is put 6 in the box and lock everything up deep. That's all you gotta do. They can't really do much, so they just gotta make the opponent play defense. Have to make a game plan, not just come out and drop back into coverage. Okay. And that's how they're going to succeed. And I think Harris is going to help out with it.
Final 6 games of the year. Baltimore, on the road at Minnesota. I already said I don't really love Minnesota, so
that's a win.
That's super hard. That's a win. Okay. Versus Tennessee. They get Tennessee at home. But then they finish with at Kansas City versus Cleveland at Baltimore. Like, that's a really tough schedule to finish the year with. I mean, and obviously I do all of these ridiculous things based that everybody's healthy. Who knows?
Especially when you're thinking they're going to be in like that tight wild card race. Yeah. That last spot, and there's 4 teams going for it. It is every year in the AFC.
Yeah.
At some point, it just has to go the other way. Like, what if Joe Burrow stays healthy and Penei Sewell blocks for him? Oh no, that's right. The Bengals picked Jamar Chase. Awkward. Yeah, you're right. They did. The Bengals are never going to be good. You be setting
up that shit like you're a point guard, bro. No, it's not that. Right. This is what it is. Right. He's a good dude, Tony. I like the way you be facilitating shit.
But it's the Bengals. Like, I can't talk about it. In
the bungalows.
Yeah. I had a private conversation with somebody recently who told me the Bengals aren't that far away. And I was like, I'm sorry that we're still friends. That's all I know. Lose my number. They're much further away than this person made it sound in that conversation.
Pretty far away.
They're pretty far
away. They need help at about all levels except for quarterback.
Yeah, Juju, give me a TikTok dance.
TikTok.
Right there.
Corvette. Von Bell's going to come out of nowhere and ruin his life.
Look, the Steelers started 11-0 last year, and then where'd they finish? What'd they finish? Like 13, 12?
I think they only got 12. Yeah.
One win, then they got blown out.
Yeah.
I don't think getting one running back in the draft is going to help them anywhere else. I know they're getting a couple guys back on the defensive side because that's where they started going downhills when their linebackers started getting hurt.
When Bush went down, that hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they went down Avery Williamson, I think, from the Jets. I think they went and got it. Was it they got? Yeah, no, definitely to go fill Bush's role. No, definitely, but Bush was a definitely impact on that defense without a doubt, bro. 100%.
Seven.
You know, but and then they lost Bud Dupree in the season too, though.
Yeah,
That was
I was
another
about to
thing.
say
You
that.
know,
He's in
T.J.
Tennessee
Watt
now.
made it easy for Bud Dupree to go ahead and go get that $48 million contract that he got in Tennessee. 100%.
Hey, I tip my hat to him. That was tough, a tough pill to swallow. They couldn't franchise tag him a second time, but you know what? Like you said, he ate a lot getting off of what TJ was doing. You know, so kudos to him. I'm never going to knock a man for getting his money. But you know, just next one up, they drafted a rookie last year. I want to pronounce, is it Hartgroves? I can't pronounce his last name. Really nice, a stud. I think he's going to step up and fill that void, and hopefully Bush comes back healthy. That defense is always going to give them an opportunity, and Harris can hopefully balance the offense to where they're not so predictable. And like you said, Ben doesn't have to throw the ball 45 times a game.
That's what it comes down to. I think it comes down to Ben's arm. We all know the defense is going to be there. It's what that offense can do.
Yeah.
And you got a new offensive coordinator this year, right?
Yeah, Piggy just dropped a little piece on him, and we're going to touch on that tomorrow. Shout out to the Fantasy Football Boot Camp and my brother Piggy.
Yeah.
We're recording tomorrow, airing Saturday on YouTube, so I'm excited for that.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
It'll be great.
Get your ass right, that boot camp, man.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna try to help those less fortunate, those who always, you know, the Tony Tuckers of the world.
I'm listening.
I got something on that though. So my brother, shout out to my dad's oldest son, right? Piggy drafted for my brother. So my cousin Kev, my co-host, he linked them together. He shot Piggy whoop, and Piggy ended up drafting for my brother. So that's part of that fantasy boot camp right there.
How did his team do?
Now that I don't know. I ain't gonna lie, but I do know that Piggy drafted for my brother.
Yeah.
And hopefully my brother might see this shit and he can go ahead and sneak up on that shit. So everything.
He's good. If anyone in here is still watching, I see we got 7 viewers. Thank you to everyone that's staying tuned in. We've had 7 to 10 for an hour and 45 minutes. That's amazing. So thank y'all. But if you guys want to check out Piggy Bank Picks on Instagram, throughout the season, he posts some of the best fantasy content in social media right now. So you go check him out.
Yeah. There's not a lot of people grinding as hard as that man, bro. He's passionate about his football on all aspects, fantasy, analytics. And he stays up until like 1 o'clock watching film, like he's a scout, like he's a D coordinator or something. And I'll be up looking for filling out job applications, and I'm look on Instagram, and it's like, hey,
I see you, Jeff.
Did you see this? Did you see this? I'm like, bro, what are you still doing up? Watching tape. I'm like, okay. So
too bad he's not as good at flag football. Too bad he's not good at
that. So you played in that game?
Oh.
Yeah, I was the captain of his opponent that beat him 10-5.
I remember that last year.
And it wasn't 10-5 like, you know, we scored a touchdown and kicked a field goal. It was 10-5 like we scored 10 touchdowns and he scored 5.
Skirdo.
Wow,
Skirdo, you and I are going to commentate that.
I remember seeing the post and the whole shit about
You're
that.
Play by play. I'm going to be the color man.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'd love to commentate that.
I haven't seen this many white guys running around since the 1950s.
Joe, you want to ref it? That would be crazy. You just throw at people.
I'll ref it. Hey, let's take the game on the road. We'll go up to Sacramento. We'll get these two involved too.
Oh my God, bro!
Let's do it.
Hey, if you film it, Tony and I will announce it for sure.
Yeah, me and JD will carpool. We'll drive down to LA.
There you go.
It's all hey. It ain't nothing but a hot skip jumping away.
We'll throw Kevin in the back, and we'll just drive down there. We'll just carpool down there. It's about a 6-hour drive, 5-hour drive.
Yeah, we ain't announced it. Yep. We ain't announced it yet, but if you guys are serious, first weekend of June, rematch.
That's coming up.
We ain't announced it yet.
That ain't nothing but 3 weeks away.
Hey, you know he been in the gym.
That's close.
He been in the gym, Mike.
Yeah, I recently got back in the gym, and it's not to look good. It's not to look good at all. It's just for this flag football game.
Wow, that's what's up.
Pull out my whistle. What? Holding. I'm gonna call all kinds of stuff.
It's on a Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Look at Tony. Tony's taking in the fact that people can buy. You could pay people to draft for you, Tony. That's what Tony's still thinking about. He's thinking about getting having somebody draft for him now.
I'm far too arrogant to have anybody draft for me because I think that I know what I'm doing. I just don't.
Tony,
it just never works out.
We got some good connections. Hit up Marcus Grant or hit up James Coe.
But here's the thing. Every time some fantasy expert says something, they're 50-50 on what it is. So I like to guess in my own crap, and then I will be right. The problem is, for example, in fantasy basketball, I was 15-1. LeBron got injured. KD got injured. Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell, and De'Aaron Fox. Five of my 6 top scorers went out in the final 5 weeks of fantasy basketball season, and I got smoked in the first round by a team that had almost 6,000 less points than me or something.
Is that a freaking
fantasy basketball? I'm not playing that shit never again.
Was that a
fantasy baseball?
It was an 8-man
I'm not
league.
playing that shit, bro.
Fantasy baseball, fantasy basketball. Get that. That's for the birds.
Hold on. I'm gonna pull up my fantasy baseball right now for y'all.
We got fantasy baseball star right here, Joe Skirta, who picked up Wade Miley on the no-hitter the other day.
Yeah,
I had the boy for San Diego, Musgrove, that threw the no-hit. So I'm winning. I'm 25 right now on my baseball. Shout out to my co-host Curtis. But yeah, fuck baseball, man. Hold on, my league. You see me down there at the bottom. Puccini Mac in 12. Fuck this shit, man. I'm not playing this shit never again.
26 weeks, right, Joe? It's 26 weeks of fantasy baseball.
I think 21. I think.
Man, that shit is 100 weeks.
Yeah, it's a long haul.
Seemed like.
I'm a nerd. I have 2 fantasy baseball leagues. I have 2 fantasy basketball leagues. By the way, I won both of my fantasy basketball leagues, so let's go. But
oh shit, that's what's up, bro.
I'm a nerd. Yeah, I got 2 fantasy baseball leagues. I can't say the same about baseball, but I did pick up Wade Miley the day of when he got, I think it was like 57 points because he threw a no hitter. So
yes,
oh yeah.
Well, I had Musgrove starting when he threw his no hitter.
Now that's pretty nice.
Real talk.
Start a blog.
Fucking A, bro.
I'm down on baseball right now too, because me and Joe decided to go to a Dodger game when the Dodgers were like 14-1 or something crazy, and we sent them into a slump. Me and Joe sent the Dodgers into a slump ever since then.
Mike, you in California too, bro?
Yeah, I'm in you know where Pasadena is?
Well, he played.
Yeah, I know where Pasadena is.
Yeah, right next to there.
John B is my dog. John B, the singer. He from Pasadena.
He's
too
young.
Y'all know who John B is.
He don't know who John B is.
Nah, he probably don't. He probably don't. Oh, everything. He's from Pasadena.
We're talking about this stuff. 1997 was the year I was
born. He did a song with Tupac.
Mike loves it when I wax poetic about Kirby Puckett.
Oh, Kirby Puckett is my dog. Shout out to the Twins,
Mike loves
man.
it when I wax poetic about super old guys. I'm like, Mike Gallego for the Seattle Mariners in 1989. He's always like,
you see, I got these grays in my shit, so I know everything you talking about, Tony. You know what I mean? Oh, everything. Shout out Ozzie Smith doing backflips.
Yes,
back shortstop.
Hell yeah.
You know
I know about that one.
Yeah.
YouTube still exists. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
This segment was brought to you by Hair Club for Men.
Just
Wow.
wow.
That's a lie. It is not.
What do you? I just got hooked up with them. Look at this. Just brushed it in right before they were like, "Go ahead and be a sponsor." No,
Hey,
I
how
don't-
many bottles did you have to use?
What are you talking, Joe? I have never dyed my hair once. I will be proud to become a silver fox.
Yeah. I'm sponsored by TB12, the brand. That's why I have this hanging up in the back.
There it is. They just drop off Haas avocados.
Avocado ice cream and shit.
Oh man.
All right, gentlemen, I gotta go. We're about at the 2-hour mark. I appreciate everybody for coming in here. All the people who talked all this NFL schedule stuff. We made predictions like we know like we know. We know the Raiders will be bad. That's all we know from this show,
Ooh.
from this
Wow.
conversation.
Wow.
Wow.
Hey.
All I know is that when you guys are making predictions on your Instagram pages, I want to see 12 or 11 wins for the Raiders on both the Joe's pages.
Yes.
I said
I said 9 wins, and I will make sure that I see 2 wins by week 13 for the Jets.
Oh,
to give you credit. That's the deal.
All right.
Wow.
Guys, I want to get in this plug real quick before we go. This weekend, we are doing should we plug this?
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
mean,
you want
there's
me
7
to
people in
bring
there.
it in?
Yeah, if you can. So we're doing a Madden simulation, all the rookie quarterbacks, 1 through 8. We simulated the games. We're doing our first round, 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7. You get the point. And we are going to play, Trevor Lawrence versus Davis Mills in the first round. We're going to do all this. We're going to commentate. We're going to laugh. We're going to joke. We're going to watch the hilarity as this goes. Here it is right here. We can have a contest. We have their look at what a great job Mike did.
Wow.
He has their Madden ratings in here. We're going to have this whole tournament. We're going to stream it live on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere, and we are going to watch these rookie quarterbacks make their virtual simulated debut here on the Warzone Network. How far, real quick, Joe, how far is your boy Zach Wilson going to go? Can he take out Kellen Mond in the first round?
I just want to see what is his overall, because like the Warzone logo is blocking
you're right.
off
Let me get that out of your way. That there might be a bit of an issue there.
Why is Mac Jones at 81? What the fuck is going
I
on?
was thinking that
Drum
too.
roll. Oh, it's still there. It's still there, Tony.
It's still there. I moved it because Joe's fucking with me. Morley, I
I'm
know
not
it's
doing
you.
Oh,
79.
Okay, so
Oh, man.
disclaimer on the overalls. So I picked the most downloaded roster because Madden didn't actually put the guys into the game. It's a community shared file. And this was the overalls that the most downloaded one came with. It's our best option, I think, other than just creating the characters my damn self, which would be really, really tough. So that's kind of how the overalls come up. I think Mac Jones has an 81 just because his pocket passing stats are probably way up compared to all these other guys, I'm assuming.
Mac Jones, wow.
I know, I get that. Yeah,
He gets
that
the
makes
Josh
sense.
McDaniels bump. I
It's a
don't
Madden.
understand how Trey Lance and Justin Fields can be that low when they're going to be the fastest guys on the field.
Well, it's a Madden thing. When the guys can scramble, Madden lowers their ratings for everything else to keep them balanced. Otherwise, they would be ridiculous.
I wish I would have met y'all when I was still playing Madden, bro.
we're not
100%. I
playing.
don't play no more.
Oh no,
We're
we're
not
not
playing. We're just watching.
No, I'm saying though, but so my dog Mike over there, he talking like he really know about what Madden going on right now, so I can hear the lingo, you know what I mean? But I don't play no more. You know what I mean? I used to be a diehard Madden fan from fucking 06, 07, even before then, like PS2s and shit like that. But I don't play no more.
Yeah.
But he's talking like, they lowered his shit because he could break out the pocket and woo this and woo that. Okay, I see.
Hey, Mike keeps us young, bro. Mike,
Yeah,
keeps
I
us
see.
the
I
youth.
see.
Mike can talk like he's smart. Mike can act like make people.
Yeah,
think
that's what I'm
he
about to
knows
say.
what
JD, don't be fooled, okay? I'm a backup quarterback at best in Madden. I started my own Madden Pro League, as I called it, because I thought I was a pro. I am currently 2-4. So not a pro playing. We'll just say that.
Hey, that's on the Ultimate Team, or you got a online franchise?
It's a connected franchise online.
Connected.
We got like
That's what I used to play though, bro.
Yeah.
So
We got
I had
25
like
games.
10 guys, 12 guys that I did a connected franchise with. I was on the Xbox for a long time.
we started off with 12, and then we bumped it up to 20, and then we bumped it up to 25, and that's when I started losing. When we started to get more
Are
players.
you on the Xbox or are you on the PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Oh, you on the 5 right now, or are you on the 4?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah,
Not yet.
I
That's
ain't
gonna be
got
like
no 5 yet neither.
when I
Nah,
find
but
one
But
day.
so
on his next
my guys
stimulus
on the
check before he
PlayStation,
gets his
my guys on the
PlayStation 5.
Xbox, that's where I played Madden at the whole time. I know a whole bunch of motherfuckers that is nothing but Madden heads over there, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nerds
We're
play
playing
Madden.
Madden.
Dodger
Joey.
Joey.
I don't know who that is,
I don't
but I
either.
like his name.
I know who that is.
I
I
don't
wonder
know.
who that is,
Yo,
dude.
This is not how it works. You cannot make a bunch of burner accounts and keep winning Friday Night Wars like this. I'm calling you out now.
What are you
It's over.
talking? Yes, he
We're not seeing
can.
Dodger Joey in the comment section.
I feel like all the time I'm being trolled. I'll be in a live show and then somebody will be like, Justin Fields burner will show up and just start making jokes. And I'm like, this has got to be Joe. And he's like talking to me face to face. He's like, it's not me. I'm like, I know it's you. Okay. We highlighted everything. Hard to start. Go there. Follow that. Fantasy boot camp. Sports Force War. Help me, Joe.
Today.
Sports
Sports
Force.
Force.
Sports
Force
Force.
dropped today. Yeah, go ahead,
Force
Joe.
dropped
Go
today.
check it out. Go check it out.
Great interview with what's his name?
Michael Hurley, he's CBS Boston. He reports for the Patriots, the Celtics, the Bruins. Yeah, he's really cool guy. He's a big Patriots guy. So go check that out. It was a great interview. He's hilarious too. So
Yeah.
He's a dude.
I was
He's
just
a
gonna
dude.
say, funny with good East Coast timing to his
Yes.
jokes. He had a couple of good zingers in there. We got Friday Night Wars coming up. All sorts of fun things. Subscribe, follow, join. Let us know you want to come on the show. You want to talk, whatever. We got it. Parenting advice, hair club for men, all that fun stuff. I'm just clearly running out of things to say, but I can't
Avocado
find it.
ice cream.
I just hit it right here. Boom. Good night.